Hey, it's Spring Ham today on Let's Cook.
It was just a genuine, honest show where kind of mistakes would happen. He'd have to work through a blender not turning on or the exact thing not happening that he wanted to. But it was relatable. So he was also making things that people felt they could recreate at home, which, at that time on, regular television, there weren't many other shows that were doing that kind of production.
So they just pause the tape during the commercial, restart it once, like 3, 2, 1, go. And so there was no if he messed up, if something happened, if something went wrong, it wasn't like rewind. It was like, okay, well, that happens.
We got a lot of fan mail. A lot of kids actually loved his show, and they would write to him, and we would read these letters that were just kind of amazing. But he definitely loved to be, the center of attention. So he ate it up, and everywhere we went, it was like, he was recognized.
I have no idea where that came from, but I'm so excited about making this wonderful ham today that it just kind of popped into my head now. To go with this beautiful ham today, we need to make some black-eyed peas. Now, in my pan right here, I have some bacon, and what I've done is I've just rendered this bacon a little bit, so I have some wonderful bacon fat in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to now remove this bacon from the pan. I'm going to use it in the dish, don't worry, but I just need to remove that. To this now, I'm going to add some cooked black-eyed peas that I have here. Get the flavor of that bacon in them, then just add a little bit of chicken stock to them to add additional flavor. And we're just going to simmer this, very little chicken stock there, just simmer this just to get these heated through. And then we finish this with some spinach and some chives, salt and pepper, and the bacon at the very end. Absolutely delicious. Now, right here, I have this beautiful ham. Now, this ham is not a picnic ham. Picnic ham would come from the shoulder of the animal. This is from the leg, and it's smoked. It's already cooked. Has a tendency of being a little salty if you've ever had this. This also still has, right here, has part of the skin on right here. What I'm going to do with this to reduce the effect of the salt or the curing process of this is I'm going to take this ham and I'm going to put it in some cold water here. But I need to show you this little tool that I made here. I have this wonderful spoon right here. Now, to get the ham and drop it into water so the water doesn't splash, and if you try, I don't want to stick a fork in it because I'm still going to drop it off. I'm going to take my spoon and I'm going to bend it a little bit. Now I have a spoon that can go under the ham here. I can still support the ham, bring it over to the cold water here, and just drop this in without getting a splash. Now, what I do in the water here is I simply bring this ham up to a boil. I shut it down. I let it sit for about 20 minutes. When it sits in there for about 20 minutes, what it does is it warms the ham throughout because it's already cured, it's already smoked, I could eat it just as it is, but it draws out some of that salt. Then I can make a glaze to go on top of it. And I'll make the glaze right now because we can have that glaze ready. To make the glaze, I'm going to take some brown sugar here. Whoops, let me just get a spoon over here. A little bit of mustard, equal quantities of all of these. So I have the mustard. I have a pinch of clove, ground clove. I don't like too much clove with my ham, just a pinch in there. And then some honey. Some wonderful nectar of the gods here. And you can see I'm using exact measurement here. That's exactly the same amount of mustard as the brown sugar as I need for the glaze. We just mix this together. It's going to be somewhat pasty because we need this to stick to the ham. And we also want to make sure that that brown sugar is totally, not necessarily dissolved, but that it's well mixed in there and we don't have any lumps. Perfect. My black-eyed peas are working here. They just need a few more minutes to allow this stock to cook down, soften up just a little bit more. Then we're going to finish it with the spinach, a little bit of chive, salt, and pepper, and of course the bacon. Let's take a little break. And then when we come back, I'll show you exactly what this ham looks like when it comes out of the oven, how to get it in the oven. Plus, we have to finish our black-eyed peas. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where we're making some glorious ham, but we have to finish our black-eyed peas first. Now, notice here with the black-eyed peas how I don't have too much liquid left. Now all I'm going to do to this now, you could use collard greens. I'm using some spinach today. I'm going to add this spinach to this and just wilt this off with my black-eyed peas. Just need to soften this a little bit. Along with that, I'm going to add a little bit of chive to this. A little bit of chive going in there too. Like the flavor of the chives. Gives it a nice flavor. Oh, you should smell this. Smells out of this world. We just need to soften this spinach a little bit. Just keep stirring this around. Let me get a spoon over here. This will work well for me. Here we are. See how we're just barely wilting this spinach? I don't want to cook the spinach to a point where it's bitter. I just need it to be barely wilted like this. This is now good. Need to finish seasoning this with salt. Be careful if you ever render bacon fat from, or pork fat from sausage or bacon. It will have a tendency of being salty. You need to be careful with your salt. A little bit of black pepper in this. Again, we're keeping this very simple for this picnic, for this ham. It's not a picnic ham because a picnic ham would come from the shoulder of the animal. This is, I'm just calling this a wonderful spring ham. So we have our black-eyed peas here. Those look good, don't they? Last but not least, I have a little bit of bacon, and I'm just going to take this nice bacon here and put this right on top. So, because I actually like the bacon to be a little crispy like that, so that's how I want my bacon. Good, now it's time to take a look at our ham. Remember a little trick here? We bent the spoon here. Going to come in now, going to get the ham out of the water, just out of the water like this. I can use a side towel to hold this part right here. Just going to pick this ham up, get this right over here, right on the cutting board. Now, my ham is warm throughout. Now I need to score the ham so that the glaze can penetrate it a little bit. What I'm going to do with my knife, I'll start right over here. I'm just going to go like this and go all the way around the ham here. A little bit more here. And all I'm doing is I'm cutting maybe, about 1/4 of an inch into the skin of the ham. Then I'm going to come over this way and do the same thing. So we're just scoring the ham. See how it's starting to split open there? We don't want to cut too deep, but you do need to make a nice score in the ham. Then, this is so easy. Come here. Going to take our ham, put it in a pan that's oven proof. I have this wonderful glass pan here. Then I take my glaze that I made before. Again, the glaze is a very simple glaze. It's just the honey, the mustard, a pinch of clove, and brown sugar. Doesn't it so good? Oh. Just pour this all over the ham there. Ooh, rub that in. Now, the other thing we need to do is we don't want the ham to burn. We don't want it to dry out. And we have a lot of sugar here. We'll take a little bit of the liquid just here in the bottom of the pan, just so that the ham doesn't stick in again, doesn't burn, doesn't get too dried out. And we pop this in the oven. So let me take this one over here. I'll get this one in the oven right here. And my glasses are fogging up just a little bit because I almost have tears in my eyes. Oh, look. Look. Let me show you what this one looks like. Oh, look. Look at that beautiful, beautiful ham. You take this ham. Let me get a pair of tongs over here. Yeah, this one. Take this wonderful ham here. You see how it shrunk up? Oh, look how beautiful this looks. Doesn't this look great? Take this ham now. I'm going to move it and set it up on the plate right over here. Doesn't that look great? Look at that ham. Oh, now, we have to do something with this ham because you can't just take something out of the oven like this and not taste it. We need to really taste this ham and see how good it really is. When we cut this ham, I would normally put it up on its side here and we would cut down this way. But just to taste it, just going to take a little piece like that right now. And I always take this piece before I allow my guests to taste it, just to make sure it's as good as I think it's going to be. I'm pretty speechless right now because that's how good this ham is. So we have our ham here. We have our black-eyed peas. I'm taking my piece back here. I'm going to nosh on this a little bit, chew this, enjoy this. We're going to take a little break. And next, I have a great arugula and tomato salad to go with this. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook. Now, we have the ham done. Black-eyed peas are done. I need to make a nice salad. So I have some arugula right here that I'm going to be using. Nice peppery flavor. Very good. I also have some delicious tomatoes here, but the tomatoes, I need to blanch these tomatoes. Why? Because I like to remove the skin. I just need to, even though sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. The way they're breeding tomatoes now, the way they're growing them, sometimes the skin's a little thick, and it just gives it a cleaner flavor. Plus, I'm going to show you how to blanch, peel, and peel tomatoes. So I have some water here that I'm just bringing up to boil. Now, to remove this core right here, I'll show you a very easy way. You're going to take your thumb. You're going to have your paring knife like this. We stick it into the tomato so it looks like that. Then all we do is we take and turn the tomato right around the core there, and we remove that core. Again, this way you won't cut yourself while you're doing this because you're just turning. You keep your thumb stationary there. You'll remove that core. Next, we need to make a little slit on the bottom of the tomato. Look at how my thumb is right here where the tip is barely sticking out. I just go across this way and I go across this way. This way I don't go too far into the meat of the tomato and it'll peel back once it's in the boiling water. So we'll just do it and do this here right here. Great. So my water needs to be at a boil. It's not quite at a boil. We're going to let that come up relatively quickly. In the meantime, we can make our dressing for this. To make our dressing, I'm going to take a little bit here of lemon juice. To the lemon juice now, I'm going to just drizzle in a little bit of grapeseed oil. And I'm only going to make enough to coat my arugula. So put this in here. You see how this is emulsifying now? See how this is really emulsifying? That's what we need to do, just emulsify that. Now, because I don't have less a thinner, I don't have a protein in there, the emulsification can break. So I need to use this right away. If not, I could just make it ahead and whip it up right before I'm about to use it. However, I'm going to use a little bit of white pepper in here, not black. Usually use black. A little bit of salt. Add this. Now, I'm going to add just a little bit of lemon zest to this too. Just give it a little bit more complexity. Let's go ahead and taste our dressing now. Need to make sure that we have the right flavor. Needs a little bit more acid. Again, when you make dressings, if you're afraid to make your own dressings, just play with them. And everybody, has a different like as far as acid is concerned. Some people like things a little astringent. I mean, how many people here can take a lemon and eat a lemon? And how many people cannot eat a lemon? That's their like astringency. So everybody has different tastes. And you need to really look at what you like as far as taste is, as far as acid is concerned. I almost forgot what I was talking about there. Can you imagine? So now I take my arugula. I just drop it in here. We're going to take this and we're going to toss this just with the dressing right here. Now this is good to go. And you'll notice I only have enough dressing here and I made sure my arugula was nice and dry just to coat the arugula. This is good. Now, my water is boiling now for my tomatoes. I drop my tomatoes into the water. We're going to move them around a little bit, but remember my spoon here? See, you can even use this spoon here. Look, to pick this up, it's very easy. So we just, now these take about 30 seconds to 30 to 45 seconds based on how the water is boiling. But you'll notice I keep moving them around. They will float to the top. Now, the way I tell if they're ready, and by the way, I'm going to straighten out my spoon now. There, now it's straight. The way I can tell if they're ready is I pull the tomato out of the liquid here, and let me see if I can show you from the bottom here. I just see if it wrinkles in my hand. If it doesn't wrinkle in my hand, it's not quite ready. Let's see here. These are very stubborn tomatoes here today. Oh, no, see here. See how it's splitting now and it's coming away? this tomato is now ready to be going to the water. So now I have some ice water right here. And what I do with the ice water is I stop the cooking process. In a lot of very good kitchens, it's a very good restaurant, usually they will take the tomato and they will blanch and peel it. Take my tomato now, look. See how easy the skin comes off? And see how, and notice I get a better color on my tomato too. If it gets a little sticky, just put the tomato back in there. And if the tomato feels warm, you need to take that tomato and plunge it back in the water. But you see how nice this tomato looks? And by the way, once you've blanched them and they're in the water and they've stopped cooking, take them out of the water because they will absorb that water and you don't want them to do that. Okay, let's shut off our water here now. Let's set up our arugula salad. So now, I have my beautiful arugula right here. I'm going to put some of that right here in the middle of the plate here. Then we'll take our tomato, cut this down here. See how nice that looks? Doesn't that look great? Give them about, we'll give them 3 pieces of tomato here. And if I wanted to, I could even de-seed the tomato. That would be even nicer. And then to finish this, just a little bit of our lemon zest here. And a little bit of salt just on the tomatoes right there. So they have a nice flavor. Beautiful, easy, simple arugula and tomato salad. We're going to take a little break. And then when we come back, what would ham be without cornbread? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook, where now we're making cornbread, one of my most favoriteest things in the world. In this bowl right here, I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients. So I have some white cornmeal right there. I have baking powder. I have baking soda. I have some regular all-purpose flour. We have our salt. We have some sugar. And just to give this a little color, a little different flavor, some sesame seeds. All I'm going to do is mix this together to make sure all those dry ingredients, rather than sifting them, are really mixed together well. Next, I need my wet ingredients mixed together. Here we have some buttermilk. We have some melted butter. And we have our eggs. So we'll just take all our wet ingredients and mix them together first before we incorporate them into our flour mixture. Now, the one thing about this with cornbread is I'm very careful not to overmix it. If I overmix it, it can end up being tough. So you just mix it just until it comes together. And a lot of times, because of the way the flour works or the cornmeal works, you need to be careful because sometimes it will take more liquid and sometimes you don't have enough liquid. So you have to play with it a little bit. I'm going to take this now, add these ingredients right here into our dry ingredients, and we just mix this together. Turning the bowl, making sure, just to make sure that everything is nice and wet. And this will be pourable, but it's still going to be a little tight. See that wonderful consistency I have here? Just make sure that you get all of those dry ingredients in. Making sure it's totally put together. Now, okay, we're good. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in a prepared pan right here. Now, in this pan right here, you might have trouble seeing it, but I have flour and butter that I put the butter in, and then I put some flour in just to coat the sides so it doesn't stick. Take a little rubber spatula here. Oh, this is so good. Just pour this right in. Making sure we get everything in here. Now, this will rise a little bit and then it'll slow down. And by the way, let me just talk for a second about the leavening agents that I used in this. I used baking powder and baking soda, but my liquid was buttermilk. Because it was buttermilk, the baking soda will work. Baking soda needs an acid present. Baking powder already has the acid present. And baking powder, double-acting baking powder, will actually work twice. It'll work once, start to produce gases when the liquid is added, and double-acting also when heat is added produces even more gas, and that's why you get the rise. Okay, so if you have an older recipe that calls for baking soda, you need some sort of acid present in it. Now, take this. I'm going to bring this to the oven and pop that in there, making sure it's in the middle of the oven. Come over here, and this looks good, doesn't it? See my cornbread right here? Now, Just going to take this while it's still warm. And I'm going to put this plate on top of this. And I'm going to pop this out. Now, the way it came clean from the sides, I'm assuming it's going to come out of the pan. But, oh, I felt it. I felt that come out of the pan. Here we are. Oh, doesn't that look great? Now, what I like to do before I serve this is I like to take a little bit of butter right here. Take and smear this butter just so that it can just melt right down into that cornbread. Doesn't that look good? Makes you want to have a little bit, doesn't it? And especially, you know, there's our flavor compounds in whole butter, especially sweet butter like this, that when it melts, just produce that distinctive flavor. I still almost get tears in my eyes when I think about the first time I tasted toast with melted butter on it. Can you go back that far? I can't. I guess that's why I think more butter is better. So, put my cornbread over right here. Let's look at what we made today. We have our delicious black-eyed peas here with the bacon and the spinach. Then we made a glazed ham. It's very so simple, not too salty, really delicious, wonderful glazed ham right there. Then, of course, we have our arugula and tomato salad where we peeled the tomatoes and just made a wonderful citrus dressing. And last but not least is my cornbread right here with the one delicious black sesame seeds. Thank you for watching Let's Cook. You have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.